Let me just ask you about your earliest childhood memories. Like, how was you talk to an American person, odds are they spent their childhood, riding a bike, going to school, running around playing sports, things like that. How do you remember your childhood?
I mean, growing up in North Korea, I just remember not seeing any colors because there's no color. We were just so poor. Nothing was even painted in color other than there's one place that we had electricity. Those were the where the Kim dictators' monuments were. And that place is where children, I remember, had to get up at 5 a.m. and go to the monuments and picking up little plants and dust out of the monument. And that's how we showed our loyalty to the regime. And the first thing I really remember from my mom was actually, she was telling me, don't even whisper because the birds and mice could hear me. And when I came to America, even with my son, I helped him to express his feelings and his thoughts. But the first thing my mom had to teach me was that the most dangerous thing that I had in my body was my tongue. If I said one wrong thing, that was not just going to kill me, but that was going to kill the 3 generations of my family. That's how North Korea punished people and get rid of any kind of rebellion by punishing up to 8 generations families for one person's crime.
8 generations. And that's true. It was not an empty threat. You actually could wind up getting family members killed 3 to 8 generations around you for misstepping in a way that was offensive enough. And it could be a mild offense.
Yeah, it's a offense is like watching Hollywood movie. That was a bootlegged Hollywood movie that came from China by smugglers. Or the most ridiculous, the offenses are like every newspaper in North Korea, the front page have to have the Kim's pictures and showing how they work so tirelessly for the people of North Korea. And a man one day didn't see the front page and looked back and ripped the paper by mistake. And that was his reason, get punished to the concentration camp and along with all his family. And I remember in my room, every household, every room, every classroom in North Korea have to have portraits of Kim dictators. And if the fire get caught, what do? You don't run with your children or your mother. You have to protect the portraits with your own body. Otherwise, your entire 3 generation family is gonna get killed.
Wow. Do you remember is there any joy? Is there any fun for the young ones?
I mean, we don't even have, so this is the thing why I keep saying that North Korea is a different planet is that they don't teach us the concept a lot of times. Like we don't have the vocabulary actually. They don't teach us the word stress. For instance, like how can you be stressed living in a socialist paradise? You cannot be. There's no word for PTSD or stress or, depression. And at the same time, they don't teach us what happiness is. So if you ask a North Korean child what is happiness, they will not know what that is. So it's not in our mind to think about what joy is. And when you are born in the country, the first thing you know is even as a little baby, you need to survive. Every day is a survival game. Nobody knows. There's no guarantee that you're going to make that day. So I remember every single day when we live in North Korea, if we made one day, not going, starting and dying, we say, wow, we made one more day and not sure what tomorrow holds for you.
I mean, so is it I don't think I'd be asking somebody who'd been a child in a World War II concentration camp if they have fond memories or were laughing a lot or had a lot of joy. But my instincts would be to do that because my instincts tell me children are children and they're naturally joyful. Is that not true? I mean, what was your experience? Were you able to tap into laughter and something that now you can see as joy, notwithstanding all of your surroundings?
So this is something that, to be honest, it healed by when I actually had my own son in 2018. And I think that's also maybe the first reason why I chose to have a child when I was just 22 years old. After North Korea surviving that country, what they do is when you're born in the oppression, they kind of numb you. They numb all your senses and they numb the ability to think critically. You are just a empty shell as a robot. Whatever the government controls you, you have this groupthink in this totalitarian state. But I still, if I really try to remember what I was laughing about is, we get electricity once or twice a year for a few hours when on the holidays of dictators' birthdays. They have to make us to watch the propaganda film to brainwash us. Then that was the biggest thing that could ever happen to me, seeing that light bulb light up. But more like 99.9% time, even as a child, like you never get to have that, humanity with you. That is completely being denied in the country.
Even to the point where you're denied, well, you tell me, you're either denied love, but at a minimum, it could be, alternatively, you're just denied the word and the concept of love.
Yeah, that's the thing. North Korea is the only country do not have the concept of love. Like, we don't know what romance is or the mother's love. Kim Jong-un literally banned Mother's Days because he was afraid that if children love their mothers, they are not going to love the dictator as much. So that's why he even denied that love that child has for their own mother, or the mother has for their own children, or husband and wife have for each other. I've never heard in my life. My father passed away before he ever reached to freedom. He never told me he ever loved me. I'm sure he did. But in North Korea, you do not even have that right to say or feel love for other people other than the dictator.
Is there nurturing without that word, without the concept? I mean, I can't imagine a mother holding a baby isn't loving, isn't holding you, isn't holding your hand, isn't showing love. But am I wrong?
So when I was escaping North Korea, the lady who helped me to go to China was a trafficker, but she sold her own daughters to Chinese to be raped. And you would think, like, what a horrible person she is. How can she possibly selling her own daughter to be raped as a child in China as a sex slave? But because that was the only her way to make her child not die from starvation. And so, of course, we can judge North Koreans all day long. How can that is a love? And in the 90s, when I was growing up, it was the worst famine in our country. That's when Soviet Union collapsed and they will stop helping North Korean regime. And socialism can never survive without subsidy from other countries. They eventually run out of all the money that people have. And people were dying millions of millions on top of each other. And during that time, I mean, families had to decide who to kill that day to feed on other children.
Like many people, I am eating healthier these days, trying to. And that's why I love good olive oil. And by good, I mean fresh. Olive oil packs the most flavor and the healthiest nutrients when it's fresh from the farm. And that's the problem with supermarket olive oils. They're not fresh. They can sit on the shelf for months, growing stale and stale and still staler. This is why I like my olive oil direct from small award-winning farms, thanks to a guy named TJ Robinson. This really is a deal changer. Also known as the olive oil hunter. When I tasted TJ's farm fresh oils, I fell in love with their vibrant, grassy flavors. They're delicious on salads, veggies, pasta, fish, meat, you name it. As an introduction to his fresh pressed olive oil club, TJ's willing to send you a full-size bottle worth $39 of one of the world's finest artisanal olive oils for just $1 to help him cover shipping. Best of all, there's never a commitment to buy anything, and you can cancel your membership at any time. Get your free $39 bottle for just $1 in shipping and taste the difference freshness makes. Go to harvestfreshnow.com. Harvestfreshnow.com for a free bottle and pay just $1 in shipping. Harvestfreshnow.com. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.